played a big role in your life.
Yeah, he played a massive role in my life.
When did that start? And how would you say he really helped you
I think
out?
it started from the first day I met him when we were standing in between the coach's office and that other room where he's giving me shoulder pads. He's telling me about my life. He's talking about clip 142 on my huddle of how I did this really well, but this kind of sucked a little bit. And then it really progressed when he became like my actual coach, when he transitioned from the wide receiver coach to the offensive coordinator. And I would have meetings with him every single day because he was a QB coach. Yeah. And it grew even more once I stopped playing, because it's never about the wins and stuff. Wins and losses are great. They're fun, right? Winning a championship is fantastic. But if you can make a change in someone's life, a positive change in one kid's life, you've succeeded. And we're going to talk like, oh, football is all about championships. And sure it is. One part of it is. But the older you get, the more you realize it's about how much you can influence an individual. And he's positively influenced my life. Does he do everything right? No. No one does everything right. Is he going to be a Division I coach one day? Yes.
Is he?
He's going to be a Division I coach one day.
What do you think he has that I believe that. I think Bino is one of those special guys that he has an aura, he has an energy about him, and it's not pretentious. You know? There are a lot of men who are trying to fake being men and try to fake being tough. He's a principled guy. And that shows his quick ascension from being a player 1 year. And then 3 years later, he's offensive coordinator for a team, and he's one of the more respected coaches on the team because he carries himself like a man. What do you think he has that separates him from the average coach?
The first thing that he can do is listen to what you say to him and then come up with a game plan, whether it's in 1 minute, a day or two, a week, a month, a year. He will figure it out, a plan for you, and that's the one way that he does things really, really well. The second thing that he does really, really well is that he's not going to tell you to do something that he hasn't done himself already. So, like, I remember as a player coming from the Dome, shooting hoops, playing tennis, or it was tennis season for me. Two-sport athlete, not a big deal.
Is tennis really a sport?
In college?
Oh, yeah. I was a captain, not a big deal.
Whoa.
2 years, not too
They
long.
said you are, that's not a good joke to make, but they said you used to have, like, little anger outbursts when you would lose a tennis match or stuff like that.
There was definitely some anger that occurred.
Some McEnroe stuff?
A little bit worse. So when I'd be walking up from the Dome or I'd be coming from my residential hall, I'd see his car still there. It was 11 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, whatever it was. He was still there. And he'd come up and he'd always say to us quarterbacks, like, hey, listen, clip 132, you took a three and a hitch instead of 3 quick here. This is why this play didn't work. And we'd say, like, how in the hell does he know that on this clip this happened? Like, off the top of his head, like, 6 years ago this happened. This is why this happened.
Photographic memory.
Not even photographic memory. He's just watched it 1,000 times. And so he's learned and he's calloused it in his head. This is what happened wrong. This is how we fix it. Football is like a yarn, a ball and a yarn. If a defender does this, that means someone else is coming over. Something else happened. So that's how he learned it, and he explained that. But I fully trusted him because and I saw him do it, but I also didn't always fully take his word, because he said to me, the exercises I make the quarterbacks do, I've done 1,000 times. Now, I don't know if he did those things, but from his examples and seeing him late at night doing the things that a respectful coach does, I fully took that as his word, and I believed him, yeah.
So he has the X's and O's down packed. What about the leadership of young men and leadership of men?
He is able to take football out of the equation and help you understand your path. Whether, like, he was a business guy. He turned out an amazing job working in a bank and business, and he took a coaching job because he's passionate about that. To be a good coach, you can't just know the X's and O's. You got to recruit these players. You got to be able to talk to them. You got to talk to a family. You got to know the difference between a kid from Florida and a kid from Wyoming. How are you going to talk to each kid differently? And he's able to help you understand what you want to do. It was like one of the hardest things to tell my mom and tell Coach Gerbino that I want to switch majors. Because at first I was PT. And I realized that I didn't want to do that. And so when I talked to him, he was just like, all right, let's go. Fired up. Here's a contact for this person. Here's this. Like, let's do this. Oh, wait, you need to go get your license? Let's go get your license. Like, literally, he took me to go get my driving test, the license. I took his car. And he taught me how to do all that stuff. It's not just literally about the X's and O's. It's about the rest of the day, not the 2 hours that I see you a day, or for the 4 hours that we had meetings for where you had to pack a lunch. You know, it's literally when you're not in there. When he's just like, hey, is everything all right? Did you do your homework? Do I need you to sit in the office while you do your homework? Kind of thing.
That's dope. That's dope. I believe it. I'm happy you believe in Coach Bino. I think he believes in himself. Coach Bino, when you get that D1 head coaching job, I think you need to come sit down with the Nick and Mal show. And we can reminisce on the greatness that we've seen. I'm sure Malcolm feels the same way about him too. And the entire Utica College football staff. A lot of good coaches up there. Litvak, this has been a great interview, bud.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, fellas.
Great time.
I'm sure this is not going to be your last time on the Nick and Mal show. Come on. You know how we giving it up. You know how we giving it up. But ladies and gentlemen, it's the Nick and Mal show. It's Bala, it's Paul Litvak. Mally, we love you. We appreciate you.
I got this one, Mal.
Yep.
Spin down.
Down. Woo, peace.
Yep. Ever told on a nigga? No. Ever squeezed the trigger? Yep. Ever set a nigga up? No. Ever helped a brother out when he was down?